man. It was there.
Wait, do you also lose every game? Are you looking for a video that can teach you how to win every game? Then in today's video we will tell you 10 amazing checkmate traps which you can use to attack your opponent and win the game easily.
Yeah, they just wanna see me in the grave. I'm out the law in the rave. Oh no.
So you have already practiced a lot, but still if you are losing every game, then you need to learn some tricks and traps to improve your gameplay. So without wasting the time, let's head to the chessboard. So you will feel that mastering these steps is very hard. But no, you need to learn once, after that it is very easy to apply all these steps. Let's see the first trap, which starts after the move e4, black plays c6, the Caro-Kann defense, and white is going to play the 2-knight attack with knight to f3. Black responds with d5, now knight to c3. Black takes the e4 pawn and also attacking the knight. White recapture, now black develops his knight. White move his queen to e2, defending this knight. Now black have many options to play. He can take the knight and it will be a trade of knights. Still white have an active queen in the center. Or he can play bishop to f5, attacking the knight with his 2 pieces. Now white will take the knight, and because of this queen, black have to use this pawn to capture the knight and double pawn on single line, which is so weird. So many players use their knight to defend the other, which is a big blunder. White will win the game in the next move by playing the move knight to d6. Black can't take the knight because of this queen, and also king does not have any square to move. So it will be a checkmate. The second trap begins with the move d4, knight to f6 and c4. Now black play e5, the Budapest gambit. White will definitely take this free pawn. Now knight move to g4, trying to taking back the pawn. White is not going to give us this pawn, so he moves bishop to f4, defending this pawn. Black move is knight to c6, again attacking. White move is knight, again defending the pawn. Now bishop gives check to king. White can't use both these pieces to block the attack, otherwise he will lose the possession of this pawn. And obviously he is not going to use this queen also. So the piece left is knight. He can move his knight either to c3 or to d2. If knight moves to c3, then bishop takes, pawn recapture, and 2 isolated pawns are on single line, which is absolutely terrible. If knight move to d2, then black play queen to e7, another attack on this pawn. Now in this situation, mostly players move their pawn to a3, attacking our bishop. Black capture the pawn. Now if white takes the bishop, then he will lose the game in the next move. Knight to d3. White can't use the pawn to capture knight because of this queen, and it will be a checkmate. The third trap starts with the most common move e4, e5, knight to f3 and knight to c6. Now white plays c3 so that he can play d4 in the next move. Black develops is another knight, also attacking this pawn. White play d4, black takes this undefended pawn. White pushes pawn forward, attacking the knight. Black moves knight to e7. Now white takes the free pawn. Black moves knight to g6, attacking our knight. But instead of saving the knight, white play bishop to d3. The idea behind this move is, if white takes this knight, then bishop will capture this knight. Now black takes the f2, attacking queen and rook at the same time. Now instead of saving the queen, white takes the knight. Black happily takes the queen without even realizing that it is a trap. White takes the f7 and check. King move to e7, white again gives a check. After king moves to d6, white again gives a check with his knight. King move to c5. White play knight to a3 to defend his other knight. Black capture the bishop which was attacking his queen. Now white play the last move b4 and wins the game. The next step starts with the move e4, e5, knight to f3 and knight to c6. This opening is same as previous step but not the ending. White move bishop to c4. Black play f5. White play d3 to defend his pawn. Now black move is bishop to c5, White move is knight to g5, attacking the f7 square with his two pieces. Black pushes pawn forward with the idea of controlling this area. After knight move to f7, black move is queen to h4, threatening white to win the game in the next move. Now white is not going to take this rook, instead he castle, which everyone will do in this situation. Black develops his other knight to attack these squares in the next move. Now white takes the rook, knight move to g4 and three pieces are attacking the white king. White play h3, protecting the square. Black takes the f2 and also attacking the queen. White play queen to e2, which is again a big blunder. Knight takes the h3 and double check on white king. King has to move. Black play the winning move, knight to g1, and white lost the game. The fifth trap begins with the move e4, e5, knight to f3 and knight to c6. Then white develops another knight. Black plays g6 to clear the way of his bishop to attack this diagonal line. White play d4, black takes the free pawn and attacking the knight. Knight moves to d5, black moves his bishop to g7 defending his pawn. White attack the queen with his bishop. Now black play a blunder move which is blocking the attack with his knight. White takes the pawn. After bishop takes, white sacrifices queen, which is a part of the trap. But taking the queen is again a big blunder by black. Knight move to f6 and check to king. After king moves, white play the last move bishop to h6 and wins the game. The next step starts after the move e4 and d5. After pawn takes, queen recapture. White develops his knight and also attacking the queen. Black move is queen. White play b4, sacrificing the pawn. Knight move to b5, attacking the c7 square. Black move is queen, protecting the c7. White move is bishop to c4. Now most of the people play the move like c6 or a6, trying to capture this knight. But it is a complete blunder. Let's see how. Bishop gives check to king. After black takes the bishop, queen again gives the check. And you can see that white can easily take the black queen after giving check to king. Now if black try to block the attack with his pawn, then white will play knight to d6 and black will lose his queen. Black also have an option to move his king. He has two square to move his king. If king move to e6, then knight will move to d4, check to king, and again black lost his queen. If king move to f6, then bishop gives check. Again if king move to e6, then white will move his knight to d4 and again black lost his queen. If black try to block the attack, then bishop will take the pawn. After king move, white again gives a check with his knight. Now if king move to any of these squares, then it will be a checkmate in the next move. So black has to take this knight with his queen and bishop will recapture the queen. Black has lost his queen and white has a great advantage. This trap begins with the move d4 and e5. After white takes the pawn, black develops his knight attacking the pawn. White uses knight to defend the pawn. Black move is queen to e7 again attacking the pawn. White play bishop to f4 again defending the pawn. Now black play a brilliant move queen to b4, check to king and also attacking the bishop and pawn at b2. White block the attack with his bishop and also save it from queen. Now queen takes a b2 and also winning the rook. White move is bishop to c3 attacking the queen and also trying to save his rook. Black can't capture this bishop because it is defended by knight. So he moves his bishop to b4, pinning the white bishop. Now if white takes the bishop, then black will retake it with his knight. And you can clearly see that black has a great advantage here. His knight is controlling both these squares and queen is also attacking this rook. If white moves his knight to any of these squares trying to save his rook, then black will take it. So let's come back over few moves. If white moves his queen to d2 defending his knight, then black will take his bishop. After white recaptures the bishop, queen move to c1, checkmate, and black will wins the game. The next step starts after the move e4 and e5. White play d4 and black takes it. White play c3 and black again takes it. Now white move is bishop to c4. Black again takes the free pawn. Then bishop recapture. Queen moves to g5 attacking the pawn at g2. But instead of defending this pawn, white moves knight to f3. After black takes, rook move to g1 attacking the queen. Black can't take any piece because all are defended by other pieces, so he moves his queen to h3. Then bishop gives check. Now if black takes the bishop, then he will lose his queen. So he moves his king to d8 square. White takes the g7 and sacrifices bishop, which is a part of the trap. White takes back with the rook attacking the knight with his two pieces. Knight move to f6, then white play knight to g5 attacking the queen. Queen to h6 attacking two pieces. Knight gives check to king. Black can't take this knight with his pawn because of this queen, so he moves his king. White moves his bishop and discovered check to king. After black takes the knight, white again gives the check. King move to the only available safe square. White again gives a check with his pawn. After king takes, white again gives a check with his knight. Black takes the other pawn. Now white play the winning move queen to d4 and it's a checkmate. Yes, I know black can block the attack with his knight, but still black will lose the game. Let's see the another amazing trap which begins after the move e4 and e5. White develops his knight also attacking this pawn. Black defends the pawn with the move f6. Now white takes the e5 and sacrifices knight. After that queen gives check. Now if black try to block this attack with his pawn, then queen takes the e5, check to king and also winning this rook. So here black has to move his king. Now white takes the e5 and check. King move to the only available safe square. White again gives check with his bishop. Now black have two options. Either he can move his king or he can play pawn to d5, blocking the attack. First let's see if black moves his king. After king moves, white again gives a check. After king moves, white play d3 and again bishop is giving check. Black block the attack with his pawn. Now white play a brilliant move h4. Now no matter what black will play, he will definitely lose the game in the next move. So let's come back few moves. After bishop gives check. This time black play d5. After white takes the pawn, knight move to g6. Now white can't move his queen to this f5 square because of this bishop. So he play h4. Black play h6. After that white play an excellent move bishop to b7. Now if black takes the bishop, then he will lose the control of this f5 square and white will win the game in the next move. So white can easily wins the rook. So let's take a look at the last step which starts after e4, c5, knight to f3 and knight to c6. White play d4. After pawn takes, knight recapture. Black play g6 to clear the way of his bishop to attack this knight. White develops another knight. Bishop moves to g7 attacking the knight with his two pieces. White defends the knight with his bishop. Black develops another knight. White develops his bishop. Black castle. White moves his bishop back. Knight move to a5 to capture this bishop. White pushes pawn forward attacking the knight. Now knight can't move to any of these squares because white pieces are already attacking these squares. If he moves his knight to h5, then white will play g4 and this knight is stuck here. So here black moves his knight back to e8. Now white takes the f7. If rook captures this bishop, then white will play a brilliant move knight to e6 and queen is completely trapped. If black takes this knight, still he will lose his queen. So here king will capture this bishop. White sacrifices knight. After king takes the knight, queen move to d5 and check. After king move, white sacrifices pawn. Then rook gives check. After king move, queen move to g2. Black play d6 clearing the way of his bishop to control this g4 square. Then white gives check with his queen. After king move, white moves his queen to g3 and wins the game. So that's all for this video. I hope you really enjoyed this video on 10 checkmate traps that you can use to surprise your opponent and win the game in style. These traps are not only fun to learn, but also useful to improve your tactical skills and awareness. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more chess content. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.